All right. Welcome to day 3 of the Confident Woman Lead, Create the Network to Get Promoted Challenge. Today, we are going to talk about what to say when making first contact. So let's recap really quick. On day 1, we talked about what is your goals and objectives, meaning you need to know where you're headed long term in order to set goals that will actually get you there. So many of us have goals, but we don't understand what needs to take place in order to reach our biggest goals. So if you want to be CEO, what roles do you need to have? What people do you need to know? Which leads us into day 2 in order to get that role, right? So day 1, what beliefs are standing in your way and what are your goals and objectives? Day 2 was all about who can help you reach those goals. None of us get to where we want to go alone. Inside of Confident Woman League, we have 12 rules for success. And one of those rules is really all roads to success include people, because there's no version of success, no matter who you are, that looks like I did it all by myself the whole way through. Yes, we can get it out the mud, we can do all of those things, but that's the hard path. And it feels lonely and it's exhausting. And why do it that way? Okay. Day 3, what to say when you're making first contact. So now that you know what the goal is, who can help you with the goal, what do you say when you first reach out to try to make a connection? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I know that for many of you, the reach out, the first interaction can be nerve wracking, but it is a game changer when it comes to building up your confidence, when it comes to being able to talk about yourself, when it comes to standing on business, when it comes to you and your goals. So let's start with just a quick story. I have a member inside of CWL right now, and as she is getting ready to, as we are working to get her ready for a promotion, one of the things that I asked her to do was to find 2 new mentors. In her case, one being a white man and one being a white woman. Now, that is not always what I prescribe, if you will. It depends on your scenario, right? So that's one of the benefits of being inside of CWO is that even though it is a membership or a lot of our calls are in group atmosphere, you can get one-on-one services if you would like, but I still tailor my feedback to you. It's not a just do these steps, you're on your own type of program. It's a, okay, tell me what's going on with you, and I'll tell you how these principles apply. And I'm going to infuse your personality, where you are, the dynamics that's happening. I'm going to infuse all of that together so that you can see it clearly and you know exactly what to do and exactly what to say. So in her case, what she wants to do is either in the tech space or in what'll essentially be the government or nonprofit space, because it's around maternal health. And the reason for sending her to meet or to find 2 new mentors was because in the tech space, it is still heavily ran by white men. And in the nonprofit healthcare space, when we talk about maternal health, those initiatives are largely led by white women. And so, even though I know that these may not be the people that may offer her a job, these are the people who know the people who also have the information about openings and things like that in her particular area and in her particular sector of what she wants to go into. Now, from her having those meetings, those people have started to refer her to other people, right? So she's spent some time with them, she's talked to them, she's been building relationships over the last 90 days. And now they're saying, hey, okay, based on me understanding, what you want more, I want you to go meet my friend over here. I think there's somebody that you should meet. This is the VP of technology. In this case, the white man sent her to a white woman, and they're having a conversation. You see how this is working, right? So I just need you to be willing to have one conversation, to initiate one conversation with one person. And the way that the process works is that if you go to the conversation, if you keep that dialogue open, this person will become a mentor. This person will get to know you just inherent in the conversation. You don't have to share all of your business or any of that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to try to walk you through how to do today, how to make initial contact. So now that we've recapped kind of the days, let's talk about where we start in terms of recapping. Now, inside of the CWL pop-up group, there are scripts, there are templates for various scenarios. So if you need a different scenario that I'm going to speak upon today, you might want to hop in there and be able to download those documents. As always, the link is in the show notes. Okay, so personalization is key. When you are reaching out, tailor your message. A generic message won't stand out. And the example I'm going to give you is this. People pitch me all the time for my podcast. All the time. I mean, almost daily. And if you've been following, know that a couple things. One, I don't tend to put people on the podcast that I don't know. But two, I can always tell that they have not done their homework on me when one, it's a white man who's reaching out to tell us about all the things. And I'm not saying that there won't come a time and a place for that, but there's no evidence that that's the type of person that is a match. The only commonality is that maybe he's talking about careers and I'm talking about careers. But had he really done his homework, he would know that I wasn't the person to pitch. Or he would have made an argument for understanding that and why I should be into allowing him to come and talk to y'all, right? The same thing goes equally for those of us who, let's say, look like me and say, well, you know, the commonality is because you're a Black woman and I'm a Black woman, help a sister out. That's generic. You made no effort. You made no effort to learn anything about what I'm doing. Just because you have a topic, let's say it's work-life balance. Anybody can speak on that topic. What makes your topic unique? How does that help the people in my audience? Like truly, other than it's going to help you sell your book. You feel me? The same thing goes for in the workplace. You want to personalize your connection as best as possible. Sometimes it's not possible and you just got to stand on business and hop in there. But this is why on day 2, we did research on who can help you and getting to know a few things about them. So something that could be said for a personalization is key is, hi, I'm looking to connect. I recently read one of your articles and it resonated with me deeply. I'd love to discuss your insights further. Now, in this case, you want to cite the article name and maybe which pieces resonated with you deeply or 1 or 2 pieces to display that you really did take the effort to read the article and you are genuinely interested. Okay, another overarching principle to keep in mind as you are writing this first contact note. What is your follow-up strategy? So sometimes people don't respond right away. Let's not make that about you. Whatever their reason is about them. But a polite follow-up can make all of the difference. So a follow-up might look like, hey, Nancy, just following up on a previous message to see if you're available for a quick chat next week. Doing that often prompts the person to reply in the moment and allow you to kind of get to the place of setting up a meeting that will lead to a fantastic opportunity in the future. All conversations are good conversations. Let me say that. All conversations are good conversations. There is something that you can learn and take away from every conversation. And one of the things I want to remind you not to do, and I'm guilty of this, is determining the value of a conversation before you get into it. Because once you've made up your mind that this conversation has no value, it will not have any value, okay? So you're gonna make an initial contact. Personalization is key. I want you to think about your follow-up strategy. And then when you do get a response, you have to be prepared. And that is what we are going to talk about tomorrow. So no worries, right? So today is all about what do you say? And the takeaway for today will be drafting what to say. and we'll cover the rest the next 2 days. I also, though, as you get ready to make this first contact, and yes, we're going to make first contact this week. So, again, if you need to be coached or talked to or motivated on how to make first contact, having the courage and the confidence to do that, get inside the pop-up group I just posted last night, asking if anybody needed help and how I can help them. I can help you too. Okay, now let's talk about the type of templates that you can find in the pop-up group and the type of templates that are available. Cold outreach is the first type. You're going to use this when you have no prior connection. The key elements of cold outreach are to introduce yourself, mention something specific about them, state why you're reaching out, and suggest a meeting. Initial notes are short and sweet, okay? They don't need to be long. They don't need to be overly wordy. The next type of template or category that there is a mutual connection introduction. So when you're introduced by a mutual connection, the key elements are to reference the mutual connection. So, hey, I met with Anita and she told me that you would be a great contact for me to reach out to. Explain the reason why you're reaching out. I've been working with her and she said that you have some background in one of the areas that I'm having a challenge with, or you have some background that may be useful for me. Are you able to meet next Tuesday at 10? If this is someone internal where you can see their calendar, then I highly recommend that you pick a time. You don't put the meeting invite on their calendar, but you pick a time where you know that they are available. You're making it easy. Sometimes what I'll also do is say, if this is an internal person, I'll take care of all of the setting it up. Just let me know if it's okay. And then if this is an industry event follow-up, maybe you went to a conference recently and you need to follow up. Some key elements is to remind them where they met you. So if it was a couple months ago, I've met a lot of people in the last couple months. Mention something that you guys talked about. You want to trigger their memory. You want to bring you back to the forefront of their mind and suggest keeping in touch and setting up a touch point. All right, let's give an overall structure breakdown of what your initial contact message could look like. We're going to start with step 1, create an opening, a personalized greeting. Basic example, hi, fill in the person's name. Step 2, context. Why are you reaching out to them? So the example I used earlier was, I recently read your article on maternal health issues amongst Black women, for example, right? Number 3, the value proposition. Anytime we are talking to someone, anytime we want someone to do something, we have to tell them what is the value proposition. We also have to tell them why they should do that for us. So what's in it for them? I'd love to discuss your insights further and explore potential collaborations. Now, we only want to say potential collaborations where that makes sense, depending on the person you're talking to. So if I go back to the podcast example, someone saying, I'd love to discuss your insights. So maybe they listen to a podcast and they'd love to discuss my insights further and explore potential collaborations. This might get my attention. You telling me why my people need whatever you're selling, not going to get my attention. What is the win-win? Number 4, there always needs to be a call to action, a clear next step. Example, could we set up a 15-minute meeting next week? Again, right here, if you can see their calendar, give a specific time and date for that 15-minute meeting. Hey, I see you're free from 3 to 3:30 next week. Can I set up a call right there? See, it makes it easy for them to say yes. And then you want to close it out. Step 5, close it out. Polite sign off. Example, looking forward to hearing from you. All the best, and your name. Okay, so here are some do's and don'ts as you craft your message. Do, personalize the message. Be clear about why you're reaching out. Follow up if you don't hear back. Be prepared for the meeting. Now, You're going to be prepared for the meeting, so don't worry. I'm going to help you with that over the next 2 days. That's what we're going to cover Thursday and Friday. I don't even want you to schedule the meeting today or send the notes. I just want you to write the note. Don't send a generic message. Don't be pushy in your follow-up. Don't go into conversations unprepared, and do not get discouraged by a lack of response. Do know response rates vary, especially if you are reaching out to someone higher up. The more likely their calendar is to be busy, the more you go up with the higher the level of the person. So don't worry, okay? If you don't hear back, you're gonna wait a week before sending a follow-up. If you in your follow-up, you're gonna keep it cute, and you're gonna keep it to the point. Again, hey Nancy, just following up on my previous message to see if you're available for a quick chat next week. Okay? So this is all we're going to do today. This is your homework for today. Earlier this week, you were to set a goal, and then you will pick 2 to 3 people who can help you achieve the goal. Today being day 3, you're just going to write or draft the notes that you would send to those people. That is all. Whatever your brain gives you in terms of next steps is coming. By the end of the week, you will have drafted your message, you will have sent it out, and you will know what you need to do to prepare for that meeting. So I've got you. And inside of Confident Woman Lead, I go even further to teach you how to take that contact, that first conversation, and turn it into a relationship, and then take it from there and turn it into a mentorship, or turn it into a relationship that you can leverage to get whatever outcome you're looking for. So whether that is collaborating with someone in your business, whether that is getting promoted, whether that is just how do I deal with these people and their politics. That's what we do inside of Confident Woman Lead. So that's where you need to be. All right, before I go, I want to talk about some quick common questions so that as things are coming up, you're not just holding them and putting this to the side. I want to answer questions that may come up based on me having taught this method before. Okay, so the first question is, what if I'm reaching out to someone very senior or influential? When you are reaching out to someone very senior or an influential person, it's especially important to be respectful of their time. So keep your message concise, highlight your genuine interest in their work. So know something about the person. Use LinkedIn like we talked about yesterday, and use your contacts to get to know more about them if you need to as you're crafting your message. And clearly state how they could benefit from the interaction. So something I might do is if I was going to reach out to the head of a department and the work that I previously done or used to do was in risk management, I might preface it that way. I love to talk more about the thing they're interested in and how the risk management work I do can also benefit them. You see, it's a win-win. They're going to tell me some things that I need to know. Maybe it's about politics. Maybe it's just getting to know them. I'm going to tell them some things I'm seeing in their area of expertise and how the work that I do can also benefit them. Personalize your message by mentioning specific aspects of their work that you admire or found valuable or are interested in. So don't just be like, yeah, you're the head of banking, and so I know you can help me. No, what about what they do? Because you understanding what they do says that you have done some level of homework beyond 90% of people. Question 2, how do I handle if the person agrees to meet but keeps rescheduling? If someone keeps rescheduling, be patient and be understanding. Politely follow up to reschedule and express your continued interest. An example of how to do that would be, hey Nancy, I understand your schedule is very busy. I'm flexible and happy to find a time that works best for you. Looking forward to our conversation. Right? So in sales, they talk about you got to get 7 no's to get 1 yes. Just because somebody keeps moving, the more consistent you are Think about it like this: the more that you're willing to keep at it, is building a muscle that you may not currently have. And that is the ability to be resilient, the ability to keep going even in the face of adversity, but being intentional about where you face that adversity and the skill that you're building. The skill to be, something you want to be delayed and to keep going forward is a skill that will cause you to be a winner every time. So don't let that deter you. All right, so really quick, what should I do if I don't know the person's email address? My recommendation would be you use LinkedIn, or you can try the company's website. Depending on how big the company is or how high in the organization a person is, you might be able to search their name and find it from an industry source as well. How do I keep the conversation going after the first contact? Keeping conversations going after first contact is an art and a skill. And I mentioned earlier that this is what I teach in the course around strategic networking and relationship building inside of the Confident Woman Lead Business and Leadership Institute. So I'm going to teach you how to take it from that first conversation, reminding you and holding you accountable to follow up, so that it turns into the type of mentoring, the type of conversations that prove fruitful for where you want to go in your career. And then the next question: how many follow-ups are too many? We only want to follow up 1 to 2 times. If you do not hear back after that, it's best to move on and replace that person with a new contact. Remember, everybody's not our people. That's okay. We made an effort. We marked them off the list and we keep going. Should I mention mutual connections in my message? Absolutely. And I gave an example of if it's a mutual connection earlier. And then the last question I want to reference: if I'm reaching out to an internal leader, can I just schedule the chat? No. Yes, you can see their calendar availability, but it is polite and politically correct to make the request first. So you can say that you see the time, as I mentioned earlier, and could you schedule a quick 15-30 minute chat on whatever the topic is, and would that work for them? You want to get their blessing before you put it on their calendar, okay? Putting it on their calendar without any introduction doesn't make it a priority. So that's why you want to get to make the introduction before putting it on the calendar. And then action steps for today: you're just going to draft your personalized messages. That's it. So some key takeaways: personalize the message. If you need to follow up in the coming weeks because you don't hear back before this challenge is over, do so politely. And manage your expectations. Tomorrow, we'll talk about initiating that contact, sending those invites, what to do, as well as we get into Friday, how to prepare for that meeting. So make sure you keep listening to this, however you're listening or watching it. And I will see you tomorrow for day 4 of the challenge.